Party on, Gary.
All right. Hello. Hi. You all survived. Yes, we have.
You're pretty.
Thank you.
Talking to Tyler.
All right, so
Fair enough.
Valid.
So it's going to be that panel.
the feedback panel is a panel where you guys can tell us how your weekend went, things we can improve on, things we did well, things we should keep doing. It just kind of goes from there. I'll have all of us introduce each other, and then people can start asking questions. Starts with you.
This is
You introduce yourself.
That is what she said. Am I right?
Well played.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Aaron.
Hi.
I am. I'm an alcoholic. No. You don't sit on a stage for that, right?
No.
I am the body consul. This is my 6th year with CoreCon, my 3rd year as consul, and my last year as consul.
She's not dying.
I'm not
Just
dying.
so you're all aware, she's
I'm
not dying,
I'm
and she's not leaving CoreCon.
No, because we're gonna kill her.
I'm Sarah, more commonly known as Kitten. I have been with CoreCon as a volunteer for 9 years. There was a year I missed because of the plague, but
It's not an excuse.
Other than that, this is my first year as consul. Last year, I was in Tyler's position, and I was a noob. So, yeah.
All right. Kim Odegaard, I am Mind Council. I started volunteering at the very first con, and they have not let me go on since. So, yeah.
How long have you been a consul?
I have no idea. I was trying to figure that out the other day. I think it's like 5 years.
Seems about right.
But I'm not 100% certain.
I think it's 5.
I think it's 5.
Because you and me started the same year.
Yes, we did. I think it is 5. I'm going to go with 5.
I'm Tyler Shara. I've been helping with CoreCon for 4 years, and I'll be taking over for Aaron after this year.
All right.
Now people are cheering because I'm leaving. Did you hear it? Did you hear
Yes,
it, Landon? I
yes,
saw the
yes,
look.
they are.
We want you to have fun again, Aaron.
Hey,
We want you to be able to get drunk with us all weekend long.
That.
all right. So, feedback. What do you guys think? Did we have a good weekend? All right. So, what did we do wrong? What should we improve? We always want to improve. We can take it. We're tough.
We do not talk about
We
Mario
don't talk
Party.
about Mario Party. It's kind of like Fight Club.
If you weren't there, you aren't allowed to know about it.
Yeah. Mario Party will not be on the YouTube channel.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
That microphone you're speaking into was in my mouth.
But
Just so
was it
Okay.
was it recorded for?
It was recorded for inner core viewing pleasure.
I missed it too.
Oh, that's too bad. We discovered that alcohol and our comedians don't mix well together.
Exactly like we knew they would.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god.
So what else, guys? Give us some feedback. Let us know. Yes.
The only thing I noticed out of what I would expect, I mean, all in all, the availability of everybody, how everything rolled, I mean, it seems like this thing is just, it's a machine now. It just works.
I'm so glad you think that.
Oh my gosh.
It appears as if what makes it look like it just runs itself.
Thank you.
The only thing I noticed out of sorts was the time frames that the fan suites were open during the day. At night, you stand back in the room and look, and every door is available.
Sure.
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you stand back and look, and it's like that one and that one. And
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk with our fan suite coordinator because that has actually been brought up is we are getting more kids and teenagers, and we do want, Hogwarts Teachers Lounge, there were some children that were very, very sad that was not open. And we do want to encourage our fan suites to do that. However, we do also understand that our fan suites go really strong from about 5 p.m. to about 5 a.m. So we do understand that they need to sleep at some point. But we're hoping to...
But we don't get to.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're hoping to encourage the ones that would be appropriate for our teenagers and our children to maybe be open during like 12 to 5, that kind of thing.
Not just that, but for people who don't want to go to panels and don't want to sit in gaming and gaming. I mean,
absolutely.
Because I agree, I'm an overgrown child and teenager, but nonetheless, I am considered an adult by some sort of crazy standard.
Like federal law.
I'm sorry, Mindy, could you repeat that?
I got a pass for staying so much in the kid room because I have a kid, so I have an excuse.
There you go.
Yeah, No, you don't.
No.
Technically, no. Not for you, Lily.
I heard a few parents kind of walking around on Saturday with their kids, and their kids were literally doing where do we do this? Oh, we do that in that. Where did you get that ribbon from? Oh, well, you do it in that room. Oh,
Sure.
It doesn't open till 6, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. Yes, that is my sandwich, and you guys are like a half hour late, so now I can't eat it. But if you could put it in ops, that would be wonderful. Then I can eat it after my panel. Thanks, bye. No, I'm good.
Especially those of us who haven't eaten yet today.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Right, exactly. What else, guys?
Maybe you could have a big party on the last day of CoreCon?
A big party on the last day of
We actually do have a
CoreCon.
big party at the last day of CoreCon. It's just after.
We're just still talking.
We do. We have a big party the last
Yes.
day of
Yes.
CoreCon.
Let us tell you about Dead Dog.
Yep. If you participated in CoreCon, we have a thing called Dead Dog after
For our
closing
volunteers.
Yep. After closing ceremonies, when stuff is more sorted out, we all sit around and play board games and drink pop, and there's even some video games.
And I believe Conflicts is showing
Yep,
a
Conflicts
movie
is
this
showing
year.
a
Is
movie.
showing a movie this year.
But that, of course, happens after we get done tearing apart the hotel and putting it all back together. So
Yes.
that often goes pretty late. So this year, that is going to be, real Dead Dog will probably start closer to 10 o'clock, which is a little late for you. However, next year, we'll be in a new hotel. And in the new
Yes.
hotel, we don't do that work. The hotel does that work. So we're going to start the
Exactly.
party early.
Woo!
We get to have Dead Dog the way that we want to have
Yes.
Dead Dog.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, yes. So next year, we're going to have a party.
Yes.
Can I just say the quiet room? Amazing idea.
Awesome.
Excellent.
I have anxiety issues and stuff, and just having somewhere to go to sit down and decompress and amazing idea. Fabulous.
Thank you.
We also use the quiet room a lot.
Oh, we forgot the pencil sharpener.
Pencil sharpener.
We
It never.
have one.
Oh my God, that's a
I'm
really
writing this
good
down.
I
idea.
went in there for one, but I did go to ops and tell them they needed one. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
After school.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh,
You
sweet.
know what? Anything we need, we're just going to tell Mindy, and she'll get
Yes.
it for us.
Yes.
For like nothing. She'll get us paid.
But the quiet room, I just want to point out, the quiet room was something that was put on our survey last year and was brought up to us, I believe, at the panel last year as well. I believe somebody said something about a quiet room.
I didn't hear anything at the panel last year. I saw it on the survey, and then the first time I really experienced one was at Convergence last year.
Yeah.
And it was the most amazing 10 minutes of my day. It was fantastic, and I made a point to stop in there all the time just because the chatter stopped.
Yes.
And that's a 7,000 person con, and it just never stops, that con chatter, and that was a great Loved it. So yeah, so we
I'm
from
glad,
the
I'm glad
from
somebody
that
liked it.
suggestion
Yes.
and from our experiences, that we went with that.
I second the motion that the quiet room was a really good idea.
Excellent.
I would suggest maybe like the pillows that aren't being used in the room, possibly moving those in there as well, making like a pillow fort.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. Pillow fort.
Sort of that,
You'll get
just
people
so
sleeping
that
in
those
there.
people that
Yeah, we'll have to check on it. We were checking on it every hour, so.
yeah.
Now I'm really excited for the pillow
No, that's
fort.
that's interesting. That's interesting. I like that.
'Cause I
And that's
went
worth
in there
noting,
one
Cliff.
day-
I'll notice that too.
I went in there one day and I saw people had written on a piece of paper and they mentioned this place needs a pillow fort. It's like, okay, I'll mention that in the suggestion panel.
No, that's
Whoever
good.
left that there.
Fantastic. Other ways that we can make it better, let us know. I mean, Kitten and my sister put together the sensory bottles, and that was an experience.
Some of them weren't very sensory. Like,
Some of them had lots of eyes.
and I don't know how soothing a bunch of eyeballs looking at you were, but it was fun.
Bring it back for Warrior.
There you go.
Taylor.
I will say I missed the couches and the little table out here where we could just gather and bullshit for the con.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a very much missed thing. And I know I've heard that from multiple people too. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
We stole them for the movie room.
Actually, we needed the space
Yes.
for the build.
That's true as well.
If they had not gone in conflicts, they would have been in a storage room.
But
So,
we had
at least they
heard
exist.
we heard concern about it early because the chairs were going to be gone too, and we heard concern earlier in the year that said where are people going to gather then that isn't a fan suite, game room, blah blah blah. Continued. So we did keep the chairs out there, but I think next year we're going to look at more places that we can set up that are not a specific room gathering.
Well,
space
next
that
year we
people can
have
sit
all
on top.
those small tables and
There are
chairs
so many
all the way around
Yep.
that pool area, which will be really nice.
That pool area is instead of Brazilian degrees.
No, it's not.
It is correct. It is not 7 bazillion
It's only 30
degrees.
bazillion degrees.
Yeah, it's still humid.
It's still a pool
humid.
area,
It's still
but
a
yes.
pool.
It's
But-
still a pool,
But
but
you have ventilation so you don't die.
Yes,
Death is bad.
death is bad.
anything else?
Some of the dealers were talking about having the dealer's room more open to the public. I heard it was open for the public on Sunday or something. Was that-
Thursday
and
and
Sunday.
Sunday.
The comment was made is, they want to sell stuff, right? You guys want to sell stuff.
Yep.
So if, you open it to the public and then if someone wants to bid on the art show or in the silent auction, they have to have a badge number at that point. So that would be a way to prevent people from doing that without being a part of the con.
We kind of did this year as an experiment to see how that went, because that was something that we have always had Sunday open to whomever, but we've always kept the vendor room as something that you need to have a badge to get into. And this year we experimented with Thursday. We'll wait and hear what we hear from the vendors, because I haven't heard anything bad from them yet, but that doesn't mean anything. So I want to hear their feedback, and we'll go from there, because I personally, I don't know, it's not my con tomorrow, or I don't really care, it's whatever. So I think
Ceremony's like 4 hours.
they
Done
should consider that for next year.
We totally will. All right, ears.
When will the bedding start? I'm just wondering.
I'm sorry.
Can you
what?
say that again?
I'm just wondering, but when does the bedding start?
The bidding?
Oh, for the
Bidding?
silent action?
Yeah,
Is that
the
what you're talking
bidding-
about?
The bidding was supposed to start on Thursday. We had a glorious problem this year of having too many items donated. And so me and Aaron went in Thursday night and tried to finagle a nice way to put all of the items onto 2 tables, the only 2 tables we had for the room, for the silent auction. And I'm hoping it worked out okay. for everybody. But yeah, that's why it started late. It started on Friday. But
Yeah.
normally it starts on Thursday at whatever time the vendor room opens. So this year I believe it was 2 p.m. It would have started then, but
Somebody
Right,
gave us an
rooms are-
entire box of records that we had to look up. It was phenomenal, but time consuming. Yes, thank you.
Taylor.
Kind of piggybacking off of Cliff's statement, what if you guys had like a, because I just thought of this, otherwise I'd have said it a long time ago. What if you had like just like a $5 per day get into the vendor room type of like, kind of like you had your temp badges before, just like this gets you access to the vendor room, but nothing else from the con, if that's what the public wants. And I mean, a $5 cover charge to get into a buying place, not that much. Most
Yeah.
people-
Yeah, we've
Right.
talked about that too.
We're
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
So
But definitely write that down.
yeah.
'Cause that I
yeah, because I
That's
think
something we
that's a
should re-explore
possibility in
too.
the future as well.
Mhm.
Gentlemen in all black.
Bouncing off of that, because that would make sense because with this hotel, since we pretty much have the hotel, pretty much everyone here was part of the con, but over at Holiday, it's going to be a bigger hotel, so there will
That's a
be
really good
access
point.
that aren't part of the con. So that might be something that would work out for that.
Very true. Very
point.
true.
I actually have a question about Ultimate Warrior.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to just add one thing to the notebook before I forget it. Ultimate Warrior. I'm coming back to you in a second. Okay?
Is it the word muggles? Because I just wrote muggles down.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's what were we just talking about?
Vendor
Vendors.
room,
Um,
$5 per day.
If we did free admission, we should note this. That means we don't have to get a badger to sit at that door.
Oh.
Freeze up some
So that's-
volunteers.
So that's something.
Some of your artisans can arrange to have their people come to pick up things here.
That's a
and
good
then once
point.
they're in the vendor's room, they're gonna look around at everything else anyway.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Very true.
Maybe decide they want to come check out the con.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. Ultimate
Okay,
Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
I was wondering if it was going to be continuing because of, the situation with House and everything.
House really wants it to continue. We spoke with House. House really wants it to continue. He didn't start it for it not to continue. So we're gonna continue to work with people like Emily Byerly and some of the other people who are passionate and would like to run it
Katie.
and plan with them, and hopefully keep it going because it's been well loved in the past.
And we had an amazing turnout.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes, definitely.
And if we can, until such a time as House may be in a position.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and have them go work with him too, because he's still very able to plan and stuff like that. It's just right now he's not obviously able to come for the entire con, unfortunately.
But if you know somebody who would maybe like to take over that duty,
Send him our way.
send them our way.
Absolutely.
Because we would like somebody who is as passionate about it as House is.
Absolutely.
Luke.
Just the next person that asked the question, if the panelists could
Repeat the question.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure,
It's
definitely.
Sunday. Totally forgot about that. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Wilmy.
Go ahead.
You're good.
Maybe, like, CoreCon does sometimes serve food and drinks around. Maybe you should put the food and drinks so with the theme, maybe. The best you can with the theme.
All right. So putting the food
Good
with the
question.
theme. The question was, maybe CoreCon should put the food themed with the theme. I can't.
Okay,
talk at
you're
all.
done.
I'm really sorry. It's not your fault. It's mine.
Okay, the question was, could CoreCon make the food and drinks more themed?
Yeah.
Themed is the word you were looking for. And yes, that's a good piece of feedback that we can give back to the individual that does our food room.
She does usually try to theme the room somewhere around there.
Some of the menu items have.
But the menu
Mhm.
items have.
But yeah, we
But
can
yeah,
definitely
no, I mean,
suggest it
thinking
to
on
her.
it this year, they
Mhm.
weren't, the menu items weren't specifically themed. I know they were last year.
And I know there was a small issue where we couldn't get into the room Wednesday night. So I know that she did not decorate to the fullest
Yeah.
this year. And usually I think Thursday is when she does a lot of that. So it was very rushed so that she could get everything ready for lunch.
And she got a flat tire on her car.
Yeah.
And she got a flat tire.
Gave her
Poor
kids back
Susie.
here for a meal.
Yeah.
Having a food room like that is a really awesome thing for the convention. And I mean, whatever effort goes into it is great, whether it's themed or not. I just love the fact that there is that there to use.
Thank you.
So he said that he loved the food room because we have one, and he didn't care if it was themed or not. So I think that
Wilmy.
sums it up.
Going with the food room, I know, I think Robin mentioned it, or someone did, a dedicated in and outdoor for the other.
I think that'll be a lot easier next year as well because the cabana rooms are bigger.
Kitten, you're not repeating the question.
Oh, having a dedicated in and outdoor for the food room would be very nice.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, we'll look into that because they use that bathroom area and the area, the area that's blocked off from that door for a lot of prep. And so it's really like, because of the wheelchair accessibility, we really looked into it this year, but she's very limited in the amount of space that she has to prep things. And so that's kind of what that's been used for. And I do like the idea of having that in and outdoor. Maybe we can find a room for her to double up with so that she can still have that prep area, but the exit can be through a different room.
Ideas.
Right. I mean, we're not going to pay for it. I'm talking about a fan suite that's willing to be used as a walkthrough.
Right.
Yeah, and they could share.
Right.
My comment is, I know as one of the air polluters of the group, a lot of us really appreciate the tent. It encourages people to move away from the hotel for those who have difficulty with smoking, and also it's a nice thing. Is a designated area of sorts going to be set up for the smokers?
So the question is, will there be a smoker's tent at the new Holiday Inn? Is that or a designated smoker space?
I can speak on that. I let them know already at our last meeting, just briefly, because our last meeting was a really brief one. That's something we like to do, and that it encourages people to go away from the door, and it's great for them and for us. And she said she would get back to us. So I don't have an answer for you yet, but we're gonna fight for it.
Did you have your hand up?
Did I miss someone?
No.
No?
Go
All
ahead.
right.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I missed last year, but I know the years before there was like children's bumper car, whatever.
Boxcar derby. Yeah, boxcar derby.
Boxcar derby. I was wondering if if you could have any more bigger children's events like that.
Sure. We can definitely.
Repeat the question.
Can we have bigger children's events like the boxcar derby in previous years? Yes. And we can definitely pass that information off to Corey, who is our children's coordinator, and work with him to have bigger children's events, because I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
I would actually like to address that. Corey has had a lot of
Yes.
busy this year, and that is kind of why the boxcar derby did get dropped. But he would love to have somebody come help him, because he runs that room. He and his wife run that room and everything involved with children's events by themselves. So if there are bodies who want to actually help run those things, absolutely, let's do it. But that's quite often we run into there just isn't enough Corey to go around. And that's hard to say because that guy is a busybody.
Go ahead.
I have this CoreCon that some of the events seem to go by very quickly, and that a lot of the fun ones like the cosplay chess and such, a lot of people have fun at. I'm wondering if maybe we can make them a little bit longer.
Okay. The question was if there are some of our larger events that are more attended, if we can make them a little bit longer. I definitely think we can look into that. That's great feedback. Panels are always our hardest thing to work around because we don't know what's going to make everybody happy and what's not. So that's constantly being tested. So I really think that we can look at our more higher attended Vuk back there, and then Brian, who also runs them in the smaller room, they always take attendance so we can reflect and look at which ones are more attended ones that I have more fun at and see if we can't make those more extended ones.
I would like to piggyback off that just 1 minute. If you downloaded the app, there is a place where you can rate the panels. Use that. Give us that feedback. That's a great, easy way for you to tell us, hey, I like this panel. This panel is awesome. Bring it back next year, that kind of thing. Because then we can give that feedback to the person running the panel as well.
I would like to piggyback off that as well and say that at the new venue, there actually are some possibilities that we don't have in this particular venue. There's like an area by the pool. It might be a really good place to set up something like cosplay chess, that it could go longer and it wouldn't be taking up those precious moments that we have in panel rooms.
Correct.
I'm totally willing to run it wherever you need me to be.
All right.
All right, Taylor.
And I say this knowing that I'm not the target demographic. I'm a straight, fat, white man.
Okay, the question is, Taylor is a straight, fat, white man.
I think that was a statement.
I just want to say I love the cosplays on consent, the Ask for Angela, and the neutral bathrooms. I love all of that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Taylor was commenting on how much he liked the gender-neutral bathrooms, the Cosplays Not Consent, and the Ask for Angela programs that we had in play this year.
A big thing for us has been accessibility over the last few years and being accessible for everybody, which again, we're always learning on what's new. Like having the ramp. Last year, we actually went to Convergence at the 7,000 person con, and they mentioned without us prompting that we had a ramp at our con, and that they didn't.
We got a shout out at Convergence, people. I'm just saying.
So that kind of sparked us to go, ooh, what else can we do?
So if you're going to Convergence, let them know all the other cool things we did. Just saying.
But thank you. And if there are ways that you think that we can be more accessible to your needs, let us know, because we don't know what everybody needs.
Absolutely.
And we want to try to accommodate as much as possible. Mandy.
How is it for the old new hotel for changing tables? Because I had so many mothers ask me where, and I know there's only
Right.
one in this hotel.
There is one in the hotel?
There's one in the hotel?
It's the women's bathroom in the very, very front.
Yeah, the women's bathroom
most
closest to the bar.
Placement ever. Not saying anything bad of that. It's just so awkward because it's, here's the changing table in the stall. You pull it down, and as a mother trying to finagle that, no. It's easier to put them on the floor.
Yeah, that was actually brought. Mindy was asking about if there were more changing tables at the new hotel, and I don't actually know the answer to that off the top of my head. I do know that that came up in a panel earlier this weekend, the "It's Okay to Be You" panel, and it was a father who brought it up, and he said, "I don't have a changing table," and so we offered him the Battle Bridge. for changing, and he took full advantage of that the entire weekend. And we will continue to do that if that is not a possibility. In fact, we'll make it more readily available and better known.
When a lot of it is, they're in the women's, but they're not in
Right.
the
Right.
men's.
That is a
Right.
very
Right.
good point.
And that's
That the
something
changing
that,
tables are in the
that-
women's and not the men's.
yeah, in light of what happened this year, we're going to remember that.
Right, Cassie has a really quick thing to say on the back of Mindy's.
Yeah, to piggyback off of Minnie's, can we, when we're talking to the hotel about, can we make the neutral gender bathroom one that has a changing table in it to assist, so all people can change the diapers of their children without issues?
She's asking if we can make a gender-neutral bathroom be the one that has the changing table. And yes, if
I think that's a great idea.
Yep,
I
I wrote
agree.
it down.
we haven't yet talked to them about gender-neutral bathrooms yet, so
They're not allowed to view our panels beforehand.
Glenn?
I know we had at least one nursing mother that was looking for a quiet space.
Mhm.
I know we managed to finagle something in the quiet room, but I don't know if there's no room. Maybe we could do like the curtain thing in ops.
That's it. In the past, the question was if we can do something for nursing mothers. And in the past, we've actually used our Battle Bridge area, offered that up, or I know Mindy in a previous year used the Anime Center has like a large handicap bathroom, so it was able to like put a chair in there if you want, so you didn't have to sit on a toilet, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely looking for more ways to do that.
Or at least have some sort of, because ops was going,
Right.
so maybe if we could have it like delineated in notes or something like that.
We have a second coat check room over there that isn't being used for anything because I doubt we're going to be checking coats and meh.
Hopefully not.
You've mentioned the Battle Bridge twice now.
Oh,
We should explain the Battle Bridge. Yes. All right. So,
there is a top secret room in con.
oh yeah, that's right. It's top secret, so don't tell anyone. So it has been brought to our attention that closing ops for situations and to talk to people, especially for sensitive information, was really impeding con goers. So what we did is we call it our Battle Bridge. I don't remember who came up with that name, but I can't take credit. But essentially, it is a completely normal hotel room right next to ops where we can go in and have private conversations. So it has more than paid for itself just in how useful it has been. It has allowed us to have a space to all meet and converse about sensitive things. If there is a congoer that just needs to get away and feels like they just need some space and time, if they're
if
concerned about somebody,
asks for Angela, and
Yes.
we put them in that room to just give them space away.
yes.
Yep. Or if we need to do a larger incident report, if we need to anything like that. That's what Battle Bridge is used for.
It's also where the councils hide. Yeah. That's why it's super top secret.
You can't find a console. That's where they
Right.
Brandy's been super
Brandy.
patient. The question was, what our stickers mean. So like we have what the stickers mean on the staff badge. We didn't tell regular congoers what that means. Actually, Tyler's been really quiet. Why don't Tyler talk about
Yes. Tyler, ladies and gentlemen, he can talk. Yay!
So, Stickers were initially a way for us to communicate with the other staff members, which is why they were on staff badges. So if we walked by and they needed to quietly tell us from like across the room how it was going, so if everything was good, they could hold on to green. If they might need something in about 15 minutes, they could hold on the orange, and if they need help right now, it was hold on the red. So it was a way for us, like, we might not be able to talk, it might be too loud, like, you know, if you're in the middle of the dance and they're on the other side of the room, they want to get your attention, they just have to, as soon as you look at them, they see that, they can hold up their badge and hold the sticker to be like, hey, I need to talk to you, or everything's good, and it was a way to easily communicate without, you know, necessarily being right next to people.
Without saying, hey, I don't like talking to this guy anymore, get me away. You could just, you know, you could just reach over and just kind of finger, you know, just have your finger on your badge, and if you're just, shut up.
I do.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Do you think that that would be useful for a fan suite? All right,
Brandy
I'm
is
sorry, I'm sorry,
nodding.
is that nodding? I see
Brandy is
going on there?
nodding.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
So-
head banging.
So again, because this is a feedback panel, would this be something that would be helpful for con goers? This was actually brought up to me as an idea for con goers to tell us that something's not okay.
Add it to your list.
I will.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you have just like some silent things,
Mhm.
like
They
that,
don't
that might
necessarily
work
see
better.
you, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're drunk. They're probably not going to see you. Yeah. So that is something. I work with individuals with intellectual disabilities, and we do a lot of visuals. And it is something that I've been working with some of them to just be able to express that things are not going well. And I had a thought at 5 a.m, because that's when all my brilliant thoughts for CoreCon come on, and why I don't sleep throughout the year, was to allow our inner core the ability to tell us when something was wrong, because it is embarrassing. Sometimes when somebody's getting heated, you don't want to be like, hey, this guy's really looking like he's gonna like throw a fit. Could you stay? Like, that's not an appropriate way for us to communicate. But our nonverbal sign language isn't always the greatest after no sleep. So yeah, I'm really glad that it worked well this year, and actually Intercore really used it. So yeah, I'll write it down for an idea for congoers.
Yeah.
And fan suites. Yes.
I know that there was an issue a couple days ago with somebody who was walking around in one of their costumes that was a little scary for some people.
Yeah.
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 Is it possible to just have rules on some of the costumes that are here?
The question was if we can put rules on what kind of costumes are here. Now, the problem with that, in my opinion, I'm not going to speak for the other three that are up here. My opinion is since we like to be inclusive, and because horror is one of our pillars, maybe we could ask them to not put it on during the day, but I don't want to stop them. That would be my opinion. I'll let the other 2, 3 talk about their opinion.
And I can see that, and it's but the hard thing is that everybody has different things. I have a friend who has recurring nightmares, like horrifying nightmares about penguins. Am I gonna tell everybody they can't dress up like a penguin? You know, so it's a fine line, you know, and that's kind of the tough thing is that I don't have a fear of that particular costume, so that didn't bother me, but I can definitely see where that would bother a lot of somebody. So it's tough, but I think that maybe putting time frames on the scarier things like that, and when we realized there was an issue, when we heard there was an issue, we brought it up, and it was immediately taken care of.
And the person in the costume was actually really nice.
Yeah.
They were a really nice person.
Always the quiet ones.
I think the big thing, right? I think the
You
big
don't know
thing
about
is we don't want to censor the con. We want to keep our con goers safe, and we want everybody to have fun, but we don't want to police what people say and what they wear. We want to make this fun for everyone. I think that's kind of why we had the quiet room, and that individual did decide to use the quiet room. And, like Aaron said, it got handled very quickly when it was brought to our attention. And we understand, I have a horrible phobia of snakes. And if somebody had come around the corner dressed as a snake, I would have ran out of the hotel room and out of the hotel, possibly Fargo. And I'm just saying, people, I'm important, you're not. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we do take it seriously, because we do understand that there are people who have a very serious phobia of those things. And like Kitten had mentioned, the guy was very understanding and very nice about it. So, and we really appreciate him helping us to handle that so quickly. Taylor.
Kind of piggybacking off of that a little bit, and I'm not trying to pick on them at all, but there was that fan suite that had the severed head on top of a pike outside their room in the pool area, and I heard that some of the children who were still swimming when it was out were a little freaked out by a severed head on top of a spike. And I mean, I know like it didn't bother me.
It was not a presidential severed head.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So the comment was that there was a severed head on a spike outside of, I believe, the worst fan suite, Brandy. Does that ring a bell? But she would like it noted for the record that it was not a presidential head. But yes, there you go. And that is a perfect example of trying to find that fine line of, we don't want to censor the worst fan suite, but we also don't want to scare small children.
Or any other fan suite that wants to do something like that, because it's one of our pillars. So I think it'll have to be a thing of maybe looking at family-friendly times and not family-friendly times.
I think we need to hear from Brandy.
I was just gonna kind of say exactly that. You have the anime room, you have the furry room. Like, we're the horror room, and we were really just playing off of one of those core aspects of what CoreCon is. So we noticed that there was no actual horror room, and in the group of people that we know and love, that is our nerd, that is our geekdom.
Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely. But we are always going to set it up the way that we think is cool, because we don't know necessarily where other people's lines are.
Right.
We are always willing to scale it back.
So
We want everybody to enjoy the con to the max.
absolutely. So
Definitely,
Brandy was just saying that had it been pointed out that she could have removed it for the time that people were in the pool, that kind of thing. But that horror is their fandom. Did I leave anything out? And that she really just wants everybody to have a good time and enjoy themselves.
And I have to say that the worst was very, very cooperative. All of the fan suites were.
Absolutely.
All we had to do was say, hey, dude, take that mask off. And they were like, yeah, okay. And it was just done.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of sort of on the same thing. I thought it was great the way each of the fan suites had that sheet saying, yes, it's family friendly, and yes, it's this, and this. But sometimes it got a little confusing, because
Okay.
Yeah, we're family friendly this time of day, or you know what, we're in a dog room.
That's
Sure.
a really good feedback.
Sure, that's great feedback. I
I'm
made
writing
those
this
signs
down.
this year, so yeah, definitely. And I think like even for the worst, because they actually had family friendly times
Yeah.
where they were doing family friendly games and stuff like that. So I think it would be great to say, hey, from like 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bring your kids in. After that, maybe not. Yeah. I'll
Sure.
put that on
No,
there.
that's great
Yep.
feedback.
Like a red ribbon that hangs from the door when it's 18 over.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Our
have
after
a
dark
lot of
symbol.
hands raised. I would like to know if anybody is talking about a different topic.
No. All right.
We'll
It's okay.
just go. All right.
You
Everybody
could.
stand in line.
Cliff.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to the Worst Suite. There's a small group of TRMN people here this weekend, and we wanted to roll pods. We had nowhere to do it, and they opened up their suite to let us and gave us some space to do it. So big thank you,
Nice.
guys.
I was glad to see that you guys were out. Like, because we see them at Convergence all the time, and they're fantastic. TR. The Royal Manticorian Navy. He was excited that there was a small group of them here, and the Worst opened up their room for them.
Taylor.
Well, I want to first clarify I was not trying to pick on the Worst. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They're the worst for
They
a
are
reason.
the worst.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I was told about it after it had happened.
Oh,
But I think it would definitely help if you guys had like public area, like you had said earlier, public area. This is family friendly time. After this time, let it be known that this is not always family friendly and it's enter at your own risk type of thing.
Yeah.
Public areas,
So like maybe family friendly spaces where that stuff is just generally not allowed that way.
Well, like saying like specifically with this hotel being that we are the fan suites are in the pool room, saying like, until 8 o'clock, please keep the outside of the fan suites family friendly, no severed heads. But then after 8 o'clock, let parents be known. The gloves are off.
Body roll.
Something for the public areas specifically.
You guys realize that now, 8 p.m. every single time the Worst is at this con, will be a severed.
To be fair, 8 p.m. is Taylor's time, so don't go with that yet.
Okay.
Taylor's suggestion was that having public areas that after a certain time or between certain times were only family friendly, and then after a certain time the gloves were off.
And Brandy has promised us that the Worst will have a severed head
After 8
o'clock
p.m.
p.m. every time.
Severed head ritual, where you actually sever the head in part of the event?
We have enough severed head props that we can
All right.
Glenn,
Jordan.
Glenn had his hand up.
oh,
Did
sorry,
you have something
Glenn.
you need to say? It was before Jordan.
The issue with the costume restrictions and the family-friendly times is being that a lot of people stay at the hotel during this time, their kids are running around late into the night. So like even if you do have costume restrictions up to a certain point, that's gonna be a problem there because kids are still gonna be around.
Mm-hmm.
The other issue is, I believe the woman that had the panic attack was an adult attendee. So family-friendly times and stuff like that would not have mattered in that situation because of the fact that it was not an age-restricted badge.
Right.
That's a good point.
Glenn was mentioning that family-friendly times may not be as effective for costuming, specifically because the person who had an issue with the costume that we're speaking of was an adult, and that may not be necessarily the best way to go about that. And I would also like to point out that we're not going to prevent them from being in the costume contest, and there's a ton of kids here then.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, I think it's your turn.
So with the new layout at the new hotel, would it be possible to have any kind of segregation to maybe have like a section of this is where all of the kid fan suites go, and then like maybe this upward balcony that most people can't see, that's what we can put over severed heads?
Yeah, like kind of like a kind of like a separate but equal thing.
So The worst wants a separate but equal place to put their severed heads.
Possibly. We'll definitely pass that information along and work with it. Maybe it's a great idea.
We're also willing to put like a peanuts warning, but for clowns.
That's the thing though. We did have, because we know that that's a big fear, we did have a lot of warning, like the prop to vote for the clown had a clown on it. We didn't hide the fact that it was a clown. Like it was.
Clown was con vote.
Yeah.
Right.
We did not choose that. That was the people.
Right.
Okay. Gentleman in black.
Going off of that, maybe for the whole separation thing, maybe having the more adult stuff on the second floor. Since I know here we have the 2 floors having like the Harry Potter room was on the second floor, maybe having that one on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's that separation so that the kids don't see the more scary stuff from the pool. That way it's
Sure.
that way it's equal for everyone to go to, but it's not obviously seen by people as easily.
Sure. So he was picking back off of having things more kid friendly on the first floor, and on the second floor having it be more adult themed. And like we can definitely look at that. Hogwarts Teachers Lounge, for the record, picked their room. They were our first application, and they were very adamant that was the room they wanted. So that's why they were there. Cassie.
Devil's advocate, if we start saying that the family-friendly rooms are here and the 18 and older rooms are there, it could deter rooms that would like to try and do family-friendly things.
Right.
To going to, okay, now we're just going to be 18 and older all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it may get to the point where you have less fan suites willing to do family-friendly things, whereas I think maybe doing more of a block time frame of, hey, if you're going to do family-friendly events in your room, please have them prior to whatever time frame is set. But if a suite only wants to do adult-oriented content, then to have something marking their door.
Sure.
I think it's just a matter of having it more visual so that families with kids can see, hey, okay, this is not a room I want my 3-year-old to go into, but this is a room that I'll let my 14-year-old go into.
Sure. So Cassie was saying that that might deter fan suites from doing family friendly events, and doing 18 plus theme all the time, where the block would make it so everybody could participate in that family friendly time.
We have like 5 minutes left. Not that this is not a great topic. I just want to make sure, is there other things? Any other feedback? Nope. Everybody wants to talk about this issue? Okay. Yes.
Well, I know this is my first year here, and I actually loved it.
Welcome. Woo! Yay, a first year newbie. Yay!
There were some things I saw that like I had discussions with Dante a little bit too. Is like the e-gaming room. The e-gaming rooms, like people that have their own, I guess, hard drives and bring in their games. But then I was hearing out what Dante was saying about some of the things for the accounts, but because I heard there were some incidents from in the past. Someone said, "Well, someone stole my game or this." Just a suggestion, the people like to have a hard that have their own stuff, sign this waiver saying if you lose it, it's your problem, not ours. Just kind of a suggestion because I would love to play a lot more in the e-gaming room than me sometimes taking my time out and go upstairs and connecting with my guys, playing a quick game and
Sure.
then going and doing other things.
Sure. So his feedback was to maybe have the ability to have congoers put bring their own hard drive in and connect it to some of our consoles or computers so that they can play with their friends while they're here or meet friends and play with them in network. That's fantastic feedback, and I will pass that. We will, just me, because I'm the
writing it
most
down.
important person in this room.
Yes, we've established that.
That we will bring that over to our e-gaming portal.
It is a great thing. I actually enjoyed the whole enchilada, the whole thing. Dante did introduce me to a few of the guys in there, and and as I do work with Microsoft a little bit here with game testings, and I'd love to share my knowledge with the e-gaming because I am an ambassador for the Xbox One testing
Sure.
and stuff like that. So I do have a lot of feedback and a lot of ideas to kind of help bridge some of the problems I know Dante's brought up to me, and I've had suggestions with some of that because I know it's
You should tell Dante to bring you to Inner Core.
he's been trying to convince me. I'm just trying to get my feet wet a little bit, not just jump in head first.
We have teams, so you wouldn't have to you could just come in and experience it a little bit.
My specialty is I'm a computer network administrator. I've done that. I have a degree in a lot of the stuff like that in the gaming world. So I do have a lot of good feedback with all that.
I can actually answer real quick why that wasn't set up like that way. For people not bringing their own system is the fact that they have a limited space, so they just don't have the space for 8 people to show up with their own systems and try to hook them up. That is.
That's why I brought the suggestion of Xbox Ones can take the hard drive and just hook it up and play on the Xbox. It's in there and game.
Yep, and then there was a reason for that is that they want people to try, they have a lot of older systems that some people may not have tried, so they don't want someone to go sit down at a system and take it up for, 12 hours because they want people to try a little bit of everything. That's one of the themes they try to go for, so they don't want someone to put their profile on and then sit there for...
Trying to bridge up the little gaps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we'll give the feedback. Bass has been really patient over here.
Now that we have a bigger location, you could possibly do a LAN setup.
LAN setup, yes, I've actually heard rumors of that from our e-gaming person. So yes, I think that is a very large possibility to have a LAN set up at the new hotel. But
They
thank you,
actually
thank you.
had the prototype for that set up this year.
Well, I went to my cousin in Minneapolis, and the convention there, people would always bring their computers and set up for there's monitors, and they connected them up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really large possibility. Thank you. Anything else?
I think we're running out of time.
Yeah,
They need to set up for.
For closing, I just want to bring up real quick before we end that we are actively looking for members of the Inner Core. We have positions that are wide open, and we need people to fill them. We don't have a webmaster right now.
Yeah, it's me, and I'm not great at it.
We are short people to run Artist Alley, the art show. We have a list of positions that we do not have people who are interested in them right now. Your pre-qualification is you say, hey, I want to be an Inner Core, and you sign a piece of paper that says that you want to be an Inner Core, and you're done.
We would also, for what Aaron said, aside from signing the piece of paper, we want you to show up to meetings and actively participate. It's not just this piece of paper that you sign.
Whatever. That's your problem.
Yeah. But we try to kind of work with people and figure out what they have experience in, that kind of thing, and try to team them up in the right positions, that kind of thing.
Right. But if you're interested, go to the comment or send us a message on the Facebook page, or send to info@fargocorecon.org, or talk to one of us in person.
Absolutely. And at any point in time, if you leave con and like 3 days later, you're like, oh, I wish I would have said this in the feedback panel, send us an email.
Yeah.
It might take us a while to get to it
Yeah,
for
this
the
week-
first week.
this week is
We're
kinda
going to
iffy.
sleep a lot this week, but
So much.
yes.
So
That's
Yeah.
true. And Michelle will like respond like that. I think you're down to like 4-hour response. It's pretty awesome.
thank you all for coming out.
Yes,
and
thank
giving
you.
us feedback. We love you. Thank you. Stick around for closing.
Yes.